Hello, everybody. David Shuster here. In the U.S. Congress, it's not often that you see a committee chairman getting shouted down while they are presiding over a hearing. But Kentucky Republican James Comer is a bit unusual. Comer was overseeing the House Government Oversight Committee hearing on the budget, and he kept interrupting Massachusetts Democrat James Lynch, who then lashed out.
And I will speak.
Well, speak. You all have put our country in debt. Kids are graduating from
You're
college.
You're about to put our country in $4 trillion more debt.
I don't think you all could find $1 billion in savings. You don't care about the Congressional Budget Office scores because you don't care what anything costs. You just want to spend hard-working American taxpayers' money.
I asked to restore the time.
Give me 5 minutes. You can talk all you want. I want everyone in America to see how much opposition you all have to.
You're out of order. You're out of order. Your own chairman, and you're out of order.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Now, without interruption.
Parliamentary experts say that Lynch was correct and Comer was out of order. And again, it was Comer who chaired the hearing, controlled the gavel, and was supposed to keep the committee moving in accordance with House parliamentary rules. Comer clashed with another Democrat on the committee as well, and we'll get to that in a moment. But first, the dust-up with Congressman Lynch of Massachusetts began when Lynch started criticizing specific Republican budget cuts to agencies, including the Department of Veterans Affairs.
Our federal budget reflects our values. When we fund the VA, so it's not just about numbers. It's about the mission and the purpose of our budget.
With all due respect, you do understand our federal budget is $2.5 trillion in debt.
Reclaiming my time, though.
I know, but our values, we can't have values where we reduce.
You don't get to just interject, Mr. Chairman.
You know what? I think you've already spoken, so you're out of order.
I have not spoken on this. I borrowed on somebody else's time.
All right, go ahead.
I borrowed somebody else's time. And I will speak.
When Comer and Lynch finally settled their spat over who was entitled to speak, Lynch said the partisan disagreements over VA spending are unprecedented. Republicans want to cut VA spending and veterans benefits. Democrats want to maintain the VA.
We owe this. We owe those benefits. Those wounded veterans lying in VA hospitals all across this country, your state and mine. We owe them for their service. They have delivered. Every one of them, by definition, every veteran who's eligible for this has honorably served this country in uniform, put their life on the line for the benefit of us all. We made a commitment to them. We said, if you come back with wounds, visible or invisible, we will take care of you. We made that promise. Multiple generations of Americans have made that promise. And this budget, these numbers, breach that promise. We break that promise in this bill. First time ever.
Comer was silent at that point, and the hearing moved on to other members of the committee. However, Chairman Comer was clearly seething because moments later he tangled with Democrat Melanie Stansbury of New Mexico. Stansbury was criticizing Republican efforts to make federal employees easier to fire and questioned Chairman Comer how much money the GOP would save.
And how much money are you saying this will generate for the federal government? For savings?
The Congressional Budget Office says $4.5 billion.
Over what period of time?
A decade.
A decade.
10 years.
Okay. So the idea here is that you...
Let me interrupt you. We're trying to
No, Mr. Chairman,
make savings here, and you all you do is criticize.
The gentlelady's time.
You act like there's no.
The gentlelady's
You act like there's no fiscal crisis.
Mr. Chairman, it's the gentlelady's time.
I'm just asking the question about the monetary offset of at-will employees. So the idea is here that you're going to generate a few $1 billion over
a few $1 billion.
Mr. Chairman, is it million or billion?
$1 billion.
Is it million or billion?
10 years by taking away federal benefits and making the federal workforce fireable, undoing all of the good government reforms after Richard Nixon's corruption. I think That we just need to be, I just want to clarify, that's what you're saying. Cool.
That is, in effect, what the GOP bill would do. While Republicans insist it's all about cutting spending and saving the government money, Democrats are pointing out that the bill would make it easier for any White House to fire government bureaucrats as political payback or for no reason whatsoever. Also, when it comes to savings, say $4 billion in the case of changing government workers to at-will employees, the Republican budget, when paired with the GOP tax cuts, would actually balloon the overall budget deficit by trillions of dollars. But thinking about multiple issues at once requires a certain intellectual ability that seems to go over the heads of many Republicans, including Chairman Comer. So they simply get angry, lash out, and throw committee procedural rules out the proverbial window. Yes, it's childish and not a credible way to debate. But debates are not what Republicans like James Comer are looking for. They're just trying to jam their MAGA government cuts through committee and then through the floor of the House. Keep in mind, as you hear about the spending cuts, that 1 out of 3 federal government employees are U.S. military veterans. The veterans will bear the brunt of GOP budget cuts on top of the reduction in services to the Department of Veterans Affairs. And if you make that point to James Comer, watch out. He's prone to throwing a tantrum. By the way, Trump Attorney General Pam Bondi just got smacked down over a political stunt of hers that backfired.
We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. They're deranged is all I can think of. I cannot believe. I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not.
This is all a clown show. This is clearly an attempt by the Trump administration to declare war on the judicial branch, which is laid out in our Constitution is separate and co-equal to his executive branch. In my perspective, this is about intimidation and intimidating any potential judges over the next several years that could stand in the way of whatever Donald Trump wants to do. I do also think it's interesting that, look, this woman was arrested. That rarely happens while a judge is performing their duty. And so I think Pam Bondi's response tells you all you need to know, that this seems to be a politically motivated action more than anything else.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.